Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Jordan. Welcome to Acoustic Scribbling. So on my cell phone today, I am going to record for you guys how to build a vintage looking pedal board out of wood. The dimensions are going to be roughly 6 inches by, I think it's by about 15, something like that. And I want to show you guys how to do that. So let's jump into this. All right, so we've got a 6-inch piece. Let's see, how wide is this? This is almost exactly 4 inches wide. So what I did was I held it up here so I can make a mark and just make sure I have the depth perfect. And I'll turn it sideways this time so you guys can actually see what's going on. So holding my board there, making a mark there. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because then I'm going to go, let's flip that around actually. Now I just need roughly to figure out, something to keep it off the ground. So we're gonna go from that mark, go 3/4 inches away from that to the inside. Same thing here. Sorry, I know I'm not making much sense. It'll make sense in just a second. I'll show you what I am doing and why. Okay? Just depending on how much you like your pedal board to sit off the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna slice this in half and I'm gonna use my jigsaw to do it because I don't have another saw in this shop right now that'll do that well. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut on this line and that will be our 2 sides for the pedal board. So it'll be, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these in half, set them on either side. We're gonna put a couple of longer boards in the middle to hold our pedals. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go over to the table saw and I'll take the camera with me. So I'm gonna set up over there and I'll show you what I'm doing. So now I'm left with kind of a rough, kind of little plateau, little notch there. So that is where our braces are gonna sit, our cross braces. I'll take a little sandpaper. Okay, you don't want to do that too much because if you do, then your measurement for the board that you just had won't be correct. All right, the board length is 28 inches and 1/8. So I'm gonna split that in half. I'm gonna do 14. Well, you know what? Let's actually rip this down first before we split it. All right, so I ripped these down to about 1 3/8 instead of 1 5/8. So that should actually be just slightly nicer for the size we're working with because we need 3 of them. So now we're gonna split them in half. Let's go 13 7/8. All right, so cut all those to length. Here's what we got. A little bit of rough, a little bit of burn from the table saw because I'm not very good at this. But once again, not a woodworker, don't claim to be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some 80 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna sand the edges. I'm just gonna round these off a little bit. I'm not actually gonna touch the ends of them really that much. And then we're gonna stick them in here and see how they look. So let's do that quick. And so now we're gonna put this together just really quick for the sake of demonstration. So with stuff like this, you can go as crazy detailed as you want to. I am not a super crazy, everything has to be just so perfect kind of guy, but I do like everything to match up as far as size goes. So I like dimensions and placements to be correct. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this square, and because it is variable, buy one of these. They are super nice adjustable squares. So I can go down, I can set it from anywhere like a 1/16 of an inch depth, which is like right there. Or I can set it to, like 15 inches or whatever. So really nice, but I need to be about halfway through these wood pieces, these braces. So that looks like 7/16 is gonna be money. Go right there. So the way I'm gonna mark these is I'm gonna take the wood here, I'm gonna go what would be about center. So for me, I can just eyeball it. If you need to use a tape measure, that's not a problem. So for me, center is gonna be about there. So then I'm gonna take my depth gauge, I'm gonna square it up there, and I'm gonna make mark right here, right there. Cool. So then I'm gonna take my drill, and if I can hold it steady for just a second, I'm gonna drill a pilot hole in it. So, and that will have a couple of functions. So I'm gonna do these quick, and then I will show you the rest of the process. I'm gonna go with about a 1/2 inch space here. Oh, I've got these backwards, I'll swap them in a second. So I'm gonna go with about a 1/2 inch space here, and that will give me a little bit bigger gap here. This is in case you wanna run your power cables or something else underneath of it. Then you don't have to go over the board. If you wanna stick it all underneath and run it up through the board just to make your stage presence slightly cleaner, that is totally doable. So I'm building it basic, but there is thought behind it. So let me do these quick, and then I'll show you guys the rest of this. So now we're gonna move on to the staining process. So I'm gonna go set up for that really quick. All right, guys, I think everything has dried sufficiently so that we can put it together. So what we're gonna be using for screws is just 1¼ inch. They look like drywall screws. So essentially just standard size 6, copper screw or copper colored screws. So I'm gonna screw it together quick and we'll see how it looks. All right, so here's the final product. I'm gonna swing across here. All right, so it's 6 screws total. I love the wood grain on it, it looks nice. Once again, just doing this on my cell phone, so it's not the greatest quality, sorry about that. Turn it around and take a look quick. So here's what it looks like underneath. Just kind of a cool, simple, vintage looking pedal board. So the thing is, so I built this one in probably about, shoot, it was probably like an hour and a half maybe total time to build it. And I built this one yesterday and stained it today because I was already staining the other one. Almost like this design better. So I didn't show you guys this because I wanted to prove, or I wanted to at least see if it was possible to make a nice pedal board, you know, a small one anyways, in like an hour and a half. Was what I tried to do, but I think it ended up being like an hour and a half worth of work between cutting everything the exact right size. I had to redo, I kind of think it was this side. I don't know, one of the pieces I cut it the wrong size the first time, or I cut the slot in it the wrong way the first time. So, but you know what? These are pretty nice little pedal boards for somebody who's gonna be playing like maybe country or something like that, where you might use like 4 pedals anyways, and maybe like one of them is a mini pedal. So grand total, this is about as big as you're gonna need for something like that. All right, so final thoughts. Is it worth it to build a pedal board like this? For me, it is definitely worth it because it means it's one less thing I have to buy, and it's a lot of fun. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the woodworking aspect of it. I have no clue if these things are any good. Obviously, we'll need Velcro to see if they actually work, and eventually I'll get to setting one up, probably just with compression, overdrive, delay, and reverb, because I'm not super into like chorus and fuzz. Like that's just not my sound, not my style. I prefer a little bit cleaner, and you know, I think I can do pretty much everything I need with 4 pedals anyways. So anyways, there is that. I'm an acoustic player mostly, so if you guys enjoy acoustic videos, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you guys enjoyed this video but you're not really into acoustic, please at least like this video. And I hope this is helpful for you. If you have a small wood shop, I just wanted to show that it is doable with minimal tools. In fact, the grooves that I cut here, honestly, you wouldn't even have to do that. I mean, with just a miter saw, so just a chop saw, you could get by with it and just stack the boards. So on top of this piece, instead of, you know, instead of down in the groove, I just thought it would look a little nicer. So that's the way I built it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please have a great day. Once again, like and subscribe if you enjoy this stuff, and I hope to see you again sometime on the channel. We'll see ya.